Hey, Fix. How are we doing? I figured I've got a pretty free Sunday. There's a couple of Idrises that have been built, so I don't need to spend my life in spreadsheets. It's just make sure I mute the YouTube stream so I don't have a double up of the audio here. But yeah, I figured it was time for a little bit of relaxed mining in the PTU. So because we now have mining missions, which is something I've sorely wanted in a while. But so I figured I'd come over and start from Nyx to get my whole mole set up, since you can only buy Riga C3s over here. It is true, Camfile, spreadsheets are life. Spreadsheets are certainly my life. That is for sure. Nice to have a little break from it though. Let's unalign from that jump point just to get that alarm to go away. But yeah, taking a look now, I'm not sure if it's because I came to Nyx this time, or let's just abandon this, or because they have done some updates with the patch, but the mining missions sort of description has got a lot better. I appreciate that. If you've got a Mac, your fleet is just a spreadsheet. That's fair enough. That's fair enough. I don't know, my wife just got a MacBook and I was kind of hoping that I'd still be able to run Star Citizen on it, but I'm guessing from that comment probably not. Just if I needed to borrow it when I'm sort of crushed by the dog. Just for reference as well, we can probably turn the camera a little bit. You can probably just see him there. There's Commander Krug. He's with us today. We'll let him sleep though. We'll let him sleep. So, I am left in charge of the dog, so if I do need to get up at some point, I apologise in advance. But yeah, so the descriptions have got a lot better versus I was doing a little experimentation with this sort of late last week. And the descriptions on the mining missions have got a lot better. It definitely, for instance, confirms here that the ore must be refined before it is submitted, which confused me a little bit, I'll be honest. I definitely tried to do the sending the bags down at the delivery point, hoping that the mission would complete. But no, you need to do the full refine. So yeah. But it's alright. Now, fairly simple at the beginning, they just want some aluminium and some quartz, so probably my mole is a little bit overkill, but what I figure is I'm going to start trying to build up some healthy stacks of these materials, so that we can do a bit of a bigger hand in, hopefully. So probably won't be able to complete large amounts of these missions today, because we're gonna have to refine it. But also because none of this matters, I get to do something which I would never do, and I get to use, what is it, pyrometric chromalysis for high yield but high speed refining. Now, I didn't have the best experience mining in Nyx up until this point, but I decided to give this a go. Now, we might just go over to Stanton, because as you can see, you do get quite a lot of these tortite deposits. Oh, thank you very much. Just another chatter. Ah, Lampis. There we go. You, the clarification. Thanks very much. Let's be real. That wasn't for me. That was for Krug, right? Krug needs those. Krug needs those expensive treats. So good to see, despite the fact that I did it before another PTU patch, that my rep here has continued over. So we are 100% actually. We're just going to go straight to Stanton. it's good to get started Nix and get the mole kitted out. But Stanton planetary mining is going to be a lot better. And also, I know that the missions over in Stanton were primarily asking for iron, which is really nice and easy to get at the moons around Hurston, so we'll do some of that. I can assure you, Canfound, Krug does not need a rib bone steak as a treat every night. Krug is on a special diet at the moment. He's sort of twitching a little bit. I've got to stop saying his name quite so much. But yeah, no, he's on a special diet. He eats better than I do. He's currently on a mix of goat and pumpkin. That's his daily routine, and we have to get him special goat treats. So, trying to work out what he's allergic to. So, yeah, if it was only that, Lampus, then maybe we'd consider it. Hi, AP. Sorry, I missed you. Although you, again, are prioritising the dog over me. So, I don't blame anyone for that. I don't blame you. So, yeah. Let's head back to Stanton. Let's do some planetary mining. Hopefully get some of those larger mass rocks. Get the mole filled up with some iron. Hey, Silas. How you doing, mate? You heard mining, and you appeared. That's what I'm inferring. Now, one thing which I will say is confusing about the mining contracts here. They don't pay anything at all. So, like, the reward is literally 0. And it's the same for the new salvaging contracts as well. Although I kind of understand with the salvaging contracts that they are guiding you to a certain wreck. So it's like they don't pay you anything, but they've got that whole, like, keep whatever else. Awesome, Silas. Yeah, good to see you back, mate. It's, but yeah, so the thing I don't quite get is the ship mining ones are like, now maybe there's sort of a guide, a tutorial element to them. But then, yeah, mining for exposure seems a little bit. All I wondered about, so over in Stanton, we will hopefully see, we'll see if they've updated the mission descriptions there. But they were tied to something called, oh right, so, sorry JM, good to know. I haven't actually done the salvaging yet. So only the first one guides you to a wreck. So what I'm wondering, there's, even though the mission giver is Shubin Interstellar, some of the missions in Stanton referred to IRG, which I think, if I remember sitcom right, is the Interstellar Resource Workers Guild. And then I'm wondering, this is me wondering out loud, there's going to be a little bit of speculation. It's not Sunday without a bit of speculation. I'm wondering if there is an element of sort of script planned for these things. And they just haven't finalised the mission rewards, maybe, because they haven't got that part of it ready. It would be really good if there's an element of, you know, a IRG script. Ah, there we go. The jump point was behind me, that's why I couldn't see it. If there was an element of IRG script to go alongside MG script, and that could provide, you know, people with a different way that isn't combat to do things like Wicklow, and who knows what these script things will be used for in the future. I'm really hoping we've got the Evocati crafting test at the start of this week. I'm really hoping to see script have a use outside of Wicklow. You know, something just a little bit more like, you know, you use it to buy better mining lasers, you use it to buy better laser repeaters from the MG script stuff. Yeah, there we go. Hey, this is Chaos. How you doing? Yeah, that's a good call, Jam. I did also notice that the hand mining contracts, which you get over in Stanton, don't seem to get any in Nix, because I don't think there's anywhere to go hand mining. Did notice they were pretty good for rep as well. So, this is all new. Worth taking a look at. Different potential ways to do this sort of thing. Pretty sure I activated that jump point. Fair warning, PTU. There we go, there we go. It did the thing. Oh. Apologies if I'm... Yeah, Loud has got time for streaming again, Siler. It's almost like I don't have 2 Idrises to build. Crazy. I'm doing stuff that isn't grinding for a Wicklow Idris. It's amazing. Strange that. I'll be honest, the sense of relief that flooded through my system when that second contract completed, I was effectively holding my breath for an unhealthy amount of time as we handed that in. Just for anyone who doesn't know, we successfully built 2 Idrises at once. There will be a video about that up in probably a few hours, so... Well, probably a few more than a few hours, so... Sometime like 6 or so this evening for me. But it's cool, because we get to do other things now, which... I get to do mining that isn't Quantanium. Crazy. There we go. Nice. Tatsu, could I imagine the quest completing after sending everything down? Yes. Yes, I could imagine that. Oh yeah, that would be very Star Citizen. I can also imagine how demoralized and angry I might be. It's not a nice thing to imagine. But can I imagine it? Yes. Yeah. I remember... Oh. Did we just go through the jump gate and then come back out in Nix? Yes, we did. Brilliant. PTU. At 125 kilometers away. That was an awfully long wormhole to travel, just 125 kilometers. There we go. Yeah. But no, it was, I think I remember I was with Space Johnny at one point, and I was just doing some other stuff while he was handing in a ICD Geo contract, and he got that thing where it was just like he handed in all the stuff and then the contract on like the right hand side of the screen just didn't go away. It just so it had all the like, you know, all the boxes were ticked in terms of like, you know, you've submitted the fangs, you've submitted the pearls, all that sort of stuff. But then just nope. Yeah. It's oh yeah. So this is a a fun bug. So we'll just try the jump again. It knows I promised Silas mining, and now it's like, ha, make him watch you do the wormhole over and over again. I was just pleasantly surprised that I managed to get through it without embarrassing myself in a mole, and then it was just like, yeah, let's do it again. Prime content. If I do appear out of it at all today, I'm gonna blame exercise. I went and played the first game of five-a-side football that I've played in about 10 years yesterday, and today I'm feeling my age, which I won't reveal, but needless to say, I'm not 16 anymore. That's for sure. That's for sure. My mate who I went with took the piss today, and he called me up and he just said, we got another game if you want to play. And I was stuck in that whole like try to come up with an excuse, and then he was just like, I got you, didn't I? I was like, you bastard. I wouldn't yeah, I wouldn't let the instability put you off doing the Wicklow stuff if you want to do it. It's go on, that definitely looks like Stanton. Don't put, oh, we've frozen. We have made it to Stanton on the second attempt. Excellent, excellent. Right, let's go and head over to Hurston and then set my spawn so that, you know, if anything happens, we're a little bit protected. Yeah, my age. I said I'm feeling my age. I am an age, you know. So, and yeah, it's definitely not. And I think the last time I played football 10 years ago, I think I felt old. I feel older today. Yeah, sorry. Back to the Wicklow thing. I wouldn't let it put you off. We handed in absolutely tons of stuff for this project with no problems. We've in the patch beforehand we built 4 Polarises. Again, you know, I think one of those Polarises we had a case of a disappearing Apex Fang, which thankfully Cookie was able to go and pull a spare one out of his stash. So like, yeah, it seems to work most of the time. I think the big thing that comes in around it is because the grind is so massive. The concept that it could go wrong is sort of terrifying. Like, you know, we're talking I'm pretty sure to do an Idris right is like upwards of 1,000 hours, and the idea that that could not work is like mildly terrifying. Honestly to the point that I think CIG should really be like, you know, if you record it and submit like a support ticket with you recording that you handed everything in, proving that you did it and you didn't get the thing, like run the QR code, that sort of stuff, I think they should honour it. Like, yeah, I'd probably be able to work it out, Silas, to be fair. Well, I can certainly work out how many hours it was based on like all the events that we ran. but then it's more because then, like, you know, a lot of people did things like well, you know, even me, like me and Spud would go and run Project Hyperion, just, you know, just the two of us in a bit of our downtime. We'd go and do that. So that's like another hour and a half. So yeah, it's I think it's easily 1,000 hours, which sounds about right. I'm not gonna lie, you know, $1,500 ship, org ship. You know, it's a multiplayer beast. So, you know, you're not meant to just be grinding this solo, like, because yeah, I mean, like, that's the context, right? You know, 1,000+ hours, but split over, you know, I think we easily had 200 people involved in making ours. So, like that, who had turned up to various events. Some are little, some a lot, you know. Hey, Ames Mac, how are you doing? I gotta say though, the sense of achievement, it's there. It's there. When it comes up, you see everybody get on it. That's a nice feeling when you know it was ground from the ground up. So however, also one hell of a relief when it's done. Just realised I was jumping to avoid a obstruction and forgot to actually reroute to the one I want to go to. Who doesn't like a bit of quantum travel though? Lets me get my extra coffee in me. Also, we get to test, does the mole have lamp? It does. Excellent. Lamp is life. I love lamp. It's going to be pretty much the saying of the 4.6 patch, I think. It's so nice for mining on the dark side of moons and planets, as we'll see shortly. I'm going to purposely go to the dark side of Magda or Rita. You got to study. Yeah, studying will serve you well for later life, see me. So go for it. You go for it. Yeah. The one thing which I find a little bit disconcerting with the whole lamp thing is it does make pings look really weird, because they seem to layer in kind of the same colour, so... After having got used to not being able to see, I tend to ping quite a lot to avoid crashing into the planet. Yeah, I'm really glad that they've added it in so that you don't have to use reshade. Using reshade always struck me as a, like, you know, is it alright? Is it not? Like, that sort of thing. Hey, Daddy Yum Yums. Indeed. Long time no see. It's good. It's good. It's good. I've genuinely been enjoying the game a lot recently. And so... a little bit worried that her L1 might have vanished on me here. Oh, there it is. There it is. Always pull up in those instances when you don't see a space station. Just to make sure you're not floating towards it. Let's go for a landing. Get a spawn set, make sure we don't have a mining accident and end up back in Nyx, having to do that jump through again. I don't think that's prime Sunday entertainment, so... is this one of the stations which is not liking my hail command. Okay, doesn't seem to want to talk to me, so we'll just land on a pad and get in. Yeah, the PTU is the PTU. This is, touch wood, been better. Decidedly better than it was late last week when I was playing a bit. Last week there were all sorts of jank. Things like my ship, just like spawning a ship was quite difficult. A bit worried that I can't get out of my seat. Oh, there we go. That had me a bit scared. I was not gonna lie. Yeah, I was planning to solar mine in a mole. Alright, might have to just wait. This seems like it might just be lagging quite a bit. There we go. Just gotta have some patience with the doors, apparently. Yeah, I was gonna go for some solo mole mining just in order to rack up some decent amounts, but we're looking for fairly bulk materials because it's things like iron that the contracts want. Wow, this is quite something in terms of the lag. Did we avoid the ladder? Yeah, good job. Right, we'll take the elevator. My hangar request completed. Excellent. The Taurus doesn't have a floor inside. Excellent. It's like the opposite of the floor is lava. The floor is non-existent. Everybody who doesn't like a jump puzzle just to get into their ship? That's my question there. Okay. Yeah, given some of that lag, I'm not exactly all that confident in my mining abilities with this. If we're trying to keep everything in the green nicely, so I think it's probably sensible to set our spawn. I'm also a bit curious. I might take a quick look in the refinery because I'm pretty sure I had some refining jobs set up. Well, let's get let's get out there and get a load. We'll go to the refinery afterwards. There we go. Cool. Definitely set at her L1. Now, to remember which pad I parked my ship on, I'm 90% sure it was pad 3. Let's just check what the ship mining things are asking for. Okay, convenient. They're now asking for iron, quartz, and copper. Well, tell you what, let's do a load of quartz, then let's do a load of iron, then let's do a load of quartz, then let's do a load of copper. Seems like a good way to do it. Says current floor pad 3, doesn't look like pad 3 to me. It does indeed seem like a bit of an iffy server. I don't genuinely know how much choice I've got in PTU, so bit of an iffy server in terms of its PTU. And what we do also have, there's also sort of one of these like kind of supply or die contracts on the go. You can't pre-farm it, no. Cargo commodities wipe in patches, like consumable items, so you can't stack up a bunch of iron at the ready. It would just disappear in the patch. Now, one thing I'm not gonna go too deep into considering all of this today. But one thing which I would maybe consider is there seem to be mining contracts in Nyx, and I would also imagine in Pyro. Right, let's get going to Magda first, because I'm fairly sure Magda and Eta are essentially 100% iron. So something which I am curious about whether it would be a better bet. The mining contracts in Stanton hand in at they hand in at like various mining outposts, which I am a little bit, I don't know, I would have made them just hand in at refineries, if I'm being completely honest, because we all know how reliable freight elevators at mining outposts are, right? It doesn't seem to want to track us to Hurston. Let's just do a little jump somewhere random. So the one in Nyx wanted me to hand everything in at Levski. So I don't know if in a live build I might be tempted to mine everything in Stanton or Pyro because of the opportunity for planetary mining being a lot better than asteroid mining, but then ship it to Nyx. Okay. But, as you point out, Ames, piracy risk. There is a piracy risk to that. Really doesn't want to give me a jump to Hurston. Wonder if it'll let me go to her L2, because that'll at least point me in the right direction of Hurston, then I can maybe manually do it. Yeah, okay. Right, if her L2 is over there, one would be led to believe that so is Hurston. Right. Go on, Hurston. Where are you? Let's just head towards her L2. Daddy Shark, I'm trying to put together my take on these mining contracts. I think they're really interesting. I think there are some weird things about it. Like, for example, I think it is a bit weird that, pretty sure I just saw Hurston zip by. We're going to be allowed to just jump to aerial. That might get us some of the way there. Yeah, so I think it's a little bit weird that they opted for you having to refine the materials. I would have made it, like, if we were doing mining contracts, I would have made it so that you handed in ore. So that people who want to do mining just have to do mining. They don't have to do, you know, the cargo hauling as well. Have a cargo hauling ship. You know, it could have provided a route to just enjoy mining gameplay. My star map's being all kinds of fun. Let's see if we go from OM1. So I do think that's a bit of a miss. I also, like I sort of said, I think using hand-ins at the HDMS sites, I'm like, did you not learn from things like Supply or Die, where those freight elevators busted and through overuse and were terrible and became a massive bottleneck? Alright, apparently the star map is just being garbage. This is also a fun new bug, by the way. Just completely losing control of your ship. Let's turn it off and back on again. See if that wakes us up. No. There we go. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, a bit like cargo hauling contracts are really great, right? Because cargo hauling contracts take what makes cargo hauling suck without them and fixes it. So what sucks about cargo hauling? That you have to put loads of money into doing it, and you have to risk losing that money to bugs, to crashes, to pirates, all these things. I'm not convinced yet that this has any sort of real positive, like, fix of some of the stuff that sucks about mining. Because I would say for people who are just really interested in mining itself, one of the things that sucks is having to be a cargo hauler. So yeah, it's sort of like, I don't know if they've maybe missed the mark a little bit there. Because you still have to do all that. You still have to refine the cargo and take it somewhere to sell it. It's just that it's not a TDD. And the fact that it's not a TDD means it's somewhat less reliable. Just a little bit worried. Let's just see. This is due to my power management. There we go. At least we can ping now. Oh, 48,000. Let's see. So yeah, however, it's a pretty cool, it's a good start. Good to see mining missions at all. So, you know, the flip side is they're working on this stuff. So once they work on it, then it can get better, right? Okay, let's maybe just get a little bit away from the actual. Oh yeah, absolutely. So like, hopefully an indication that refining gameplay is on the horizon. I gotta say, I'm looking forward to, like, you know, reasons to mine things which aren't Quantanium. You know, or a limited subset of like tier 1 materials for cash. I really enjoyed, like, when we were doing supply or die, and it was like mine loads of tin, mine loads of ice, like, you know, looking for like the bulk commodities. That was good fun. And also opens up a lot of possibilities to do things within the org, like what some of the midweek miners have been working on, sort of logistics hubs, bringing loads of spare bags, getting moles refitted, essentially doing massive mining ops. But this all does rely on it working. See if the old trick works. I think this server could just be... It could be performing better, let's face it. Call it like it is. But yeah, being able to throw, like, refining on site into the mix, that would be awesome. Yeah, that's some lesser spotted surface hadnite right there. Maybe I should hop out and get that to fill the hand mining contracts. Okay, let's go for that cluster over there. Fly past it and then circle back. Give it some time. I'll do that on the next one. Do that on this one. A little bit worried about how windy Magda's looking today, given the solo nature of my my mole expedition. Also good to see that they haven't fixed the whole, like, gems getting a ping return. That's at distance. I'm going to say that's more gems right there, given the signature. As is that. Wow, we've got a lot of gems. That one looks slightly more promising. We could detect rocks from further away. Seem to be detecting gems from a lot further away. And seems that that whole gem overspawn thing hasn't gone away with this patch, which is a little bit on the disappointing side. Did just see a return out at like 20 kilometers. That's new. Right, that's definitely felsic deposits. Okay, let's go have a look. And if the wind could die down as well, that would be really appreciated. Alright, good. Right, so let's get a bit of distance, circle back to it, see if that helps it render it at all. Any tips on how far I'd need to get? Let's go with 2 kilometers. I think it might just be a case of time, allowing time for them to spawn in. Okay, I got some form of read there. That was good. Solid tip. Thank you very much, Duramura. There we go. Make the rocks think that you're ignoring them, then come back for their delicious minerals. Let's see. Seems to be a good patch for having something to do while you wait. PTU's been real flaky. PTU's always real flaky. Until you get to, like, the release candidates, and then at that point you're like, this PTU looks amazing. The stability is so good. And then you remember that that's because, like, relatively few people are playing it. And then it gets released to live, and it's all kinds of jank again. And it needs a hotfix, so... There we go. That's kind of what we want to see. Bit of a small rock, that one. We'll probably crack it, but should be able to just use one of the side lasers. These are all a bit on the small side. But, you know, I'm like coming up on an hour into a mining stream and I haven't mined anything yet, so I'm totally going to mine these rocks. Okay. Let's just get this last one scanned and then let's set about doing a bit of mining. Probably won't use the helix, because with the way this server's been. I would say, I saw some people say that the patch is coming next week. People always say the patch is coming next week, by the way. Based on the status of this, I would not be that confident. CIG do work quite fast, and it can sometimes be like there's no way, and then actually the PTU builds like very snappily get better and better and better. But I'd say this needs 2 weeks to cook, in my opinion. And I hope they let it have that time, because it does look like there's some pretty cool content. Oh, now we find a 40% Quantanium rock. Well, we don't need it. Not like I can make any Polaris bits out of that. Let's see if we kind of go. Maybe we can go from left laser to right laser and get all these rocks. I love turning away Quantanium and just being like, nah, don't need Quantanium. Need that delicious iron. Not enjoying the like 4-second delay to get out of my seat though when it comes to the thought of doing some mining. Yeah, you can generally feel when it's getting towards a release candidate. I would say, in my humble opinion, this is nowhere near. Like, it's just judging by the fact that I have to stand in front of doors for like a good 5 seconds for them to open for me. I'm gonna say there's issues. Yeah, delicious iron is an important part of a balanced diet. And honestly, that's what I want out of mining. I want the need for more varied materials, which in turn feeds, like, you know, more varied builds. Yeah, right, Jules. There is a certain point, and it's like worth keeping in mind. You know, the PU is a test environment. Like, so there comes a certain point where, like, people get PTU fatigue. They can't be bothered to play. So therefore, CIG can't get the testing that they need to actually make it any better. So then it becomes a case of, and we've seen it with a good few patches, just push it out in whatever state it's in, and deal with it once you're there, right? Like, because then at least you will get the testing mass. Now I'm wondering, is this not turning on because of the aforementioned lag, or is it not turning on because I forgot to put enough pips into my mining lasers because my power was being a bit jank? Yeah, I agree with you, Jeremiah. It's crafting that's needed to drive the varied materials. I am wondering whether these mining missions are basically prep for that. Like, they're laying the groundwork, getting people away from just doing quant mining and tier 1 map mining, and forcing people to sort of, like, you know, learn more about bulk commodity mining. Judging by the fact I can't get out of my seat, I'm wondering if it is a big lag. Yeah, Jules, 318 did look really good in PTU, didn't it? Felt great. I was so excited for that patch. Then I got that 60k error that meant I couldn't log in on my main for like 3 weeks until they fixed it. I felt so angry in that moment, and it wasn't, you know, I had ults so I could play, and I had kind people around me who basically, like, chucked money onto my ults. Like, I was using my main ult, Flint gave me like a good few million cash, so I could, like, buy I think I bought a freelancer max and then went from there. Like, so I had that. What I was left to wonder was, like, what if you are somebody who just has one account and it is just bricked with this 60k thing? You know, almost to the point I felt in that moment that CIG should have done way more, because they sent me an annoying copy paste message to my support ticket, just saying, like, sorry about that, and then didn't do anything about it. I was sort of like, you know, oh well, we're stuck in a perpetual loop on a ladder apparently. Yeah, I was pretty pissed off, because I was just like, if I didn't have an alt account, you've just effectively told me, tough shit, no game for you. Oof. Yeah, this ladder really don't want to let us go. 602. Absolutely, if bugs are not your thing, Star Citizen's not your game. Is that I don't mean to be a dick. It's not. This is not me being a dick. This is just, if you can't handle bugs, like, you need to wait for Star Citizen to release if you want to play Star Citizen, because there are always bugs. The one thing I would say, do not take what I am doing right now as a fair indication of what the game is like. I am playing on the PTU. The PTU, it has a message down the bottom of the screen, which I'm not sure you can read, because it's probably quite tiny, but I'll read it out for you. Test version, this is an early test build and not indicative of gameplay / content on the official live servers. Pretty much says it like it is. So we're in here to see if we can do some stuff to, you know, test some of the new missions and everything like that, but stability and bug-free gameplay we are not expecting, not remotely. So hey Skylancer, how you doing, mate? Oh, did the laser turned on? We have life. Alright. We activated a mining laser before we got to the 1 hour mark. And it is just as buggy as I was fearing. Just as laggy. Okay, thankfully this is one of the easiest rocks in existence because it's not a particularly nice situation to be cracking in. Indeed, Sky, indeed. I might try and do this more often. Sunday is actually a pretty good day for me. Not too much going on. Okay, bit worried this is all frozen up. Yeah, we're moving again. Maybe I should have gone with a prospector. 20/20 hindsight. Okay, pretty sure that rock should crack. There we go. Let's look for 100% iron. Excellent. There we go. But yeah, Sunday's quite a good day. I think my wife would be quite happy if she can just leave me looking after the dog, playing computer games. Cannot for the life of me tell if this ship is really moving around like this, or if it's just weird desync stuff. What are we doing? What are we doing? No worries, Myth. I'll mutter the bad words for you. The lads I was playing football with yesterday are all Ukrainians. So wow, okay. This is very odd, I'm not gonna lie. Like I say, I don't know if it's actually happening or not. So yeah, I was playing football with the Ukrainian lads, and I think my wife is hoping that I might learn some more of her language, and I did. I think I learned all the words she would not like me to use. So who cares? Let's just pull this in. Let's pull this in and hope it's iron. Got long enough to like scoop a rock there. It was beryl. Yeah, maybe I'm getting thrown around by wind. I'll claim my prospector before the next run, I think. Might be slightly easier to control, even if we're not pulling in quite as much. Yeah. I got to learn a lot of Ukrainian swearing. So yeah, I don't think it's gonna fill the. I think I'll have to stick to Duolingo for conversations with my mother-in-law. Not learning my Ukrainian from the football guys. Right, that all looks like it now. Let's see if we can switch the other laser. Now I think we have come back to the same position we were in, so I don't think that was the wind knocking me around. I think that was just horrendous amounts of desync. So fun and games. Let's see for a test how long this laser is going to take to turn on. That's the power clicked. Okay, about 4 seconds. Okay, laser power is actually being responsive. That's good. Good news. Oh yes, guy, we are basically gathering iron for the new mining missions. So, but yeah, we need server performance to be at a point where we can reliably mine. That would be lovely. We're back in space. Okay, let's hope for some big slabs of iron to come off that. Barrel. Let's pull that in. Now, if this all comes to fruition, I think mining is going to be really fun next patch, because it's going to be about like big bulk mining, crack those iron rocks, crack those quartz rocks, all that jazz. Not, you know, search, ooh, Quantanium. Do one bit of mining, do 10 times as much scouting, like that sort of thing. So, and it's cool as well because what we can do is go out with a primary focus on things like iron, but then we found some Quantanium, excellent, let's get that while we're here. It's only a small rock, but we can get it from this position quite comfortably, so let's take it. Still be another 10 SCU or so of iron. And also with it being bulk materials, it's very, very comfortable to do sort of things like taking a cargo ship along with spare bags and doing really massive runs, which I personally love doing. We're just going to need to start one of my characters off in Nyx and fill a box with Riga C3 modules and bring them all back through to Stanton for everybody. That's my plan. Might buy a C2 on my primary ult and make that their first job. So. There is also, yeah, like I say, some sort of... Let's take a look at what these priority contracts are like. So, yeah, so they're asking for like things like laranite. Small supply of researchers. So again, pressurized ice. Wonder if there's any... Yeah. So a bit of a mixture of resource gathering and sort of combat missions. Yeah, a bit of a mix of everything. I'm wondering if there's a... Yeah, because I can see like a small scale thing, just needing a few SEU of borace, a few SEU of laranite, that sort of thing, but where's the large missions, eh? Or do you have to build up some rep in order to unlock those? As far as I'm aware, Myth, the Riga C3s are only in Nyx. That's the only place I've seen those. It's, and I don't think that's going to change. So yeah, I think the way I'm gonna deal with that is to just start a guy in Nyx. First thing I'm gonna do in the patch, buy a lot of Riga C3s, ship them to Stanton. Then if anybody wants Riga C3s, they can have them. You know what? Not gonna even wait for that to scan because I seem to be in a perpetual loop here. Okay, that seems to all be beryl now. That's a quant rock. Who won't worry too much about quant rock. Let's see how long it takes to get out of the chair. Yeah, I mean, I'm just going to use an alt account myth. Set one of them as home base at Levski. Ship 3 Riga C3s. Come see me for Riga C3s. Some simple way to do it. So yeah, Jules, you absolutely can mine in the Glacium Ring. All you need to do is just take like a contract, so like use like investigation missions or something like that, and you can use that as a way to get a QT marker in the Glacium Ring, which is then like, you know, even more convenient than getting into the Aaron Halo, where you have to use sort of start-stop at certain distances. Super safe, because the chances of somebody, particularly if you like get a marker and then drive for a bit in a certain direction while you scan. The downside to the Glacium Ring is the same as downsides to the Aaron Halo. It's there's a lot of stuff there. A lot of materials. There's also a lot of tortite, which is sort of a Nyx specific material. And it's like, it's super resistant and leads to quite a small green zone. So maybe not the best for actually mining. I also found like the distances you have to travel between rocks are quite big. So "8-second server delay." We're down to like yeah, I feel it's like a 5-second server delay. So it's but we got some minables on board. We've done some mining in this mining stream. And thank you very much for the subs there, Sky. Much appreciated. Apologies if I'm delayed on these thank yous. I'm still getting back into this, remembering how to actually do streaming. Okay, that's a decent rock. Good thing here is at least they're all iron. At least these ones are a little bit bigger than that first one. Yeah, that's good. If it was 8 seconds yesterday and it's 5 seconds today, maybe it'll be like 2 seconds tomorrow. Fingers crossed. Cheers, Sky. Thanks very much. Oh, that one wanted to scan right at the last moment. Oh, that's laranite and iron. We'll take that bit of laranite to see if we can complete some of these priority missions in a wee bit. But yeah, the good thing about these missions as well is it should lend itself quite well to some nice chilled streams. Just get out there, mine some iron. That hopefully doesn't take too much of my brain, so, which is good, because I feel a lot of things recently have taken a lot of my brain, so... If I look away from it, and then come back to it, will it have decided to scan? No. Okay. Well, let's get that big sort of taronite and iron rock on the hill. Now, who wants to place a bet? Which way is it going to fall? It's going to fall down the hill, absolutely. So if we get over it here, hopefully it'll fall in such a way that we can still hit it. Right, we need to keep an eye on the time. We've got 50 minutes until a certain little dog is going to get up out of his chair and start scratching himself because he wants a walk. That's Krug's demand method. So, at least all the doors stayed open there, because that should allow me to not have to wait for them to all open. And instantly into the desync realm. Let's take a minute to let the ship work out where it wants to be. That impossible rock was definitely getting charge, but when I can't control the power, we probably want to let it settle down. Okay, power is responsive. Let's give that another go. Sadly, I think the bit of time I had without wind, again, lost all control of laser intensity. PTU builds do take the patience of a saint. It is for sure. I can imagine you can see the laser intensity on my screen is doing 65% and not moving. And that is despite me scrolling the mouse wheel up and down. So when I see that settle and behave itself. I am wondering if it's just really not handling me getting in and out of the pilot seat in the mole very well. Yeah. We are going to bank what we have and claim a prospector for another run. And I should be able to get one more run in before I have to get out with the doggo. So yeah. Yeah, mole fitness. The AI has taken over. Let's try to be helpful. Alright. Let's get back in the pilot seat. Because maybe, just maybe, you sometimes get desync bursts like this when you're not in the pilot seat of a mole. Or when there's nobody in the pilot seat of a mole. So let's just use a prospector, even if it is going to be a wee bit slower. Getting really used to standing in front of these doors, though. Yeah, I think judging by, you know, because these doors should just open straight away. There is a ton of lag here. But, you know, is what it is. Plus, you know, at least, like, the point of these streams really is just to have a look, but also just to have a chat and chill out on a Sunday. So, doesn't get in the way of the latter. Even if the game doesn't wanna comply. No, the AI has firmly taken over this mole. It's not even going to let me back in the bridge. It's too busy doing whatever it wants to do with the ship. I would really like to get back on board. Come on. It's like, I'm almost tempted. Ah, there we go. I just had to pull a gun on it. And then it got the message. Was tempted for a second to just see what would happen if I just shot the door open. Just for anyone wondering, I have pressed F on the seat. I'm now just in wait mode, so... Only a little bit disconcerting watching then the ship just fall out of the sky. This is like all of the slight fears I have around flying being confronted right now. Right, let's get out of Dodge. Oh. Good start. Let's hope we don't yo-yo back. Spoke too soon. What if I just go straight up? Did I mention about patience? Come on. Let me free of the planet. Let's go. Fifth time's the charm. Fifth time's the charm. I believe. Or if I do it in third person. Or if I don't look. If I don't look. Magda will not. I don't know if we're on Magda or Ita. That feels a bit better. That's the closest we've come to escape. That's the first time we've broken atmosphere. Let's head back to Hero 1. All the bugs. All the bugs. Alright, is there anything we can just manually jump to? Let me go to Everest Harbour. Oh, let's go to Ita, stop in the middle, and see if we can redirect to Hero 1 from there. Go on. There we go. There we go. See if we can stop the quantum jump. Okay, that worked. One thing as well, which I really, really hope they fix before they send this build live. The way it is, every time you press F2, you start from the ship. When I'm in the cockpit of the ship, I want to start from here. I want to start from the star map view. Like, come on. This feels like a very small quality of life fix that that they could put an intern on. So it's these little things that it'd be nice to not have to go crazy over. Right, let's make sure we are not aiming straight at the marker. There we go. Station decided to appear. Let's just ensure we're aiming close but not at, in case it decides to disappear on us again. Which it did, so that was a wise choice. Feeling like we should be somewhere close to it, so I'm just going to stop and see if it wants to come back. Maybe we'll try a server change. I'm not sure it's going to make any difference, but or indeed if there's actually any reliable way to change servers. There we go. That was a pretty good guess. Once again, just for anybody who has joined, who is seeing the catastrophic nature of some of these bugs, this is the PTU. So, this is not the live release version of Star Citizen at the current point. This is the test universe. And clearly, a test universe that needs some more testing. So, I will refer anyone who says patch this week to this video. Be like, yeah, sure. Yeah, really sure. Alright. We unfortunately have to wait for it to give us a parking spot, because I would like to at least get these thing in. I got the audio message of please proceed to assigned landing bay. But I'm not seeing a bay yet. There's hangar request completed. Where are we looking? Can we see Loudgun's hangar anywhere? There we go, got a marker, finally. When do I think 4.6 will drop? I would say, based on the current standard of this and previous PTUs, I reckon 2 weeks' time. Yeah, live servers were trash last night. That is a fair point. A fair point, Jules. So, I don't know, US Army, if they're changing it to do raw hand-ins. I would much prefer that. That was one of my little moans from earlier, because I feel it's sort of, it doesn't really make it all about mining. Like, I love the fact that it's going to be very focused on sort of like bulk material acquisition, get you mining different things, get you going different places. I really like that. Oh wow, that's a new and this is why we set our spawn. So you know how I said 2 weeks? 2 weeks. I feel pretty solid on 2 weeks, because yeah, I appreciate that the delays were also happening on live, but I haven't seen that happen on live. That's a goodie. Chris just laughs at me. Oh yeah, I forgot to turn lamp off. Maybe leaving my lamp on, maybe that was what caused me to just randomly fucking explode. Hey ho, hey ho. Right, we'll just try. We'll just see if we can get into a different server. Not that I really think it's going to make any difference. But we'll give it a go. We might as well switch now. we died. Yeah, sorry, Myth, I should have probably turned it off. It looks quite awful when you're just in space with it on. Maybe, Jules, maybe. Maybe during one of those, like, the AI took over periods, maybe it was mining some quantanium on its own. And then disabled the quantanium volatile cargo warning for me. So... But yeah, sorry, back to the lamp thing, Myth. It looks a lot better on planet surfaces when you're mining on the night side. And also you get different colours on different ships. I do prefer the sort of like bluish on the Prospector to the orangish on the Mole. So make of that what you will. But yeah, I should probably remember to actually turn it back off when I'm not on the planet. Yeah, so when it comes to the missions, they are for the same things each time, is what I found out from earlier. So you're reliably going to get missions to hand in the same commodities. So you wouldn't take the mission, go and mine the stuff, or wait, like feel the need to wait because like you've got the mission to go and hand it in. You'll be going and mining the stuff that is required for the missions because you know what's going to be required for the missions. You get it refined, you take the mission when you've got refined ore to hand in, if that makes sense. So it's not a case of like, oh, I've taken this mission, I better hang out here for 3 hours while this refines. However, my problem with it is that I would have preferred to see mining missions which were entirely about mining, not about cargo hauling. Yeah, I think they should have been a way to just do, like, I think it should have just been hand it in at the refinery. Like, there should have been some sort of terminal, or you could have used the ore terminal, and it should have been, or you send the bags down with the ore in them. Like, and the hand-ins should have been at refineries. They shouldn't be at, like, HGMS stations. That's, yeah, I mean, how to handle it with multi-crew, I don't know. I don't even know what the payments are, to be honest. They're currently paying nothing. I was hypothesizing earlier in the stream that maybe we'll see like an industry script equivalent to the mercenary script. That would be cool. I also think that, you know, script will have purposes beyond Wicklow. So yeah, I think that should hopefully be a thing. Let's go. Well, that door opened a bit snappier. Maybe we got lucky. So yeah, remains to be seen entirely what these missions are actually for. And also, you know, it's an iterative process, right? So I think what's important is to engage with it, play it, provide feedback. And yeah, 100% Nipsey. I love that name, by the way. Nipsey Struggle. That's excellent. I would love to see, you know, big scale ones, and not just 300 SEU of Bexalite, but like, you know, missions which, you know, 100 SEU of Bexalite, 200 SEU of copper, 150 SEU of iron, 10 SEU of gold, 14 SEU of quantanium, like that sort of thing. And if they were based on like just handing in ore as opposed to handing in refined materials, then it could be a case of, yeah, you get your group together and they could randomize it, right? So it's not always the same and repeatable. And then you get your list and you're like, right, mining event tonight, we've got like 8 of us on, so we're going to be able to tackle like one of the large missions. We've got enough time for that. Let's take one, see what we're after. Okay. And if they added to the complexity with, you know, some of the materials you'd be best going to pyros, some of the materials you'd be best going to nicks. So it's not just like, you know, they could have different ones with different levels of payout based on whether, you know, you pick it up in Stanton and it's all Stanton materials, or you pick it up in Stanton but it's going to require you to go to pyro for some pressurized ice and nicks for some tortite, like that sort of thing. Now thankfully we're going to be able to deliver our prospector. Now let's just hope the refinery sells us a laser that we can work on it. If I claim my mole, I'll be able to get my Riga C3 off that. Yeah, that would be cool if it was like a ongoing type thing. Yeah, for any amount of those materials, you'll get paid a certain amount, maybe with a bonus for completing the whole thing. Like that would be cool. Just so if, you know, you've got time catches up with you, you don't get lucky. You can hand something in but not get the like bonus payout for completing the full thing. That would be sweet. But I think we just got to, you know, at least CRG are working on mining missions. This is the way I look at it. I'm like, we're in a way better position if they have mining missions that they're working on that we can then provide feedback on. Whereas if they just don't have them, they just don't have them. So I'd rather have them and they be shit than not have them at all. So I mean, the missions as they stand will lend themselves quite well to group logistics. Because like for mining large amounts of base metals, you can do the things like we've been doing, where you have like cargo ships with spare bags, and you get to a spot which is really good for mining the materials you're looking for. You mine an absolute ton of it, right? Like that's a solid possibility. I would rather, though, as to Myth's point, that it be something that you can work on and hand in an evening. But you know, maybe with ship refining though, you'll be able to. That's the other side to this, right? Not liking the complete lack of anything in that shop. Considering I'd just like a mining laser, that's not a good start. Oh well, let's see if we can buy this Hofstede just off the wall. Hopefully by the time I get back that will have processed. Because yeah, once we see refinery ships in-game, this might be the sort of thing that you can get done, because they've sort of hinted that, a good transaction complete. They've sort of said about ship-based refining that it would be a lot quicker than the station-based refining. Yeah, absolutely, Nipsey. And so, do you get what I mean when I say, like, there's a real feeling that I got when I was doing a lot of cargo hauling, because I did a lot of cargo hauling to make that cargo hauling guide. The rep grind there is fairly insane. The cargo hauling missions, on the one hand, you know, they give purist cargo hauling gameplay to people. Really good way of doing it. None of the other crap, just if you want a cargo hauling missions got you. They also, though, I think, were great sort of prep for people running bases and doing, like, crafting and base logistics. So, you know, the multi-drop missions, for example, they're like having to get like relatively complex like routes, stacking missions, all really good for prepping for being like a logistics operator within an org, running multiple bases. I think that the mining missions are potentially very good prep for crafting. Like driving you to get a variety of resources, bring it from point A to point B, stop you from just pure focusing one material, which has been the curse for mining for a while. Take off my shirt. I not that kind of stream, I'm afraid. Yeah. Don't think I'm well aware I've got a face and body for radio, don't worry. Where do our org miners like to mine individually? I think I speak for myself here at least, and also for the you know, what's come out of sort of our mining ops and stuff. Back in the day, like when I started playing, Lyria or bust was the whole thing. So, you know, if you weren't going to Lyria, what were you doing, basically? Because Lyria was the quant heaven, and Quantanium was all you wanted. And because Quantanium was all you wanted, there was also only one laser that you wanted. Like, yeah, so mining was fun because mining was enjoyable as a technical, like, gameplay loop. But it also wasn't, because it was so linear. Go to one place, use one build, use one ship because the mole was better than the prospector. So like this was back around like what, 323, 324, and all that sort of stuff. Like, since the rebalance though, you have a lot more reason to go different places. And I think what our mining crews do in our org is they mix it up for variety. Something which we've talked about a lot recently is to actually go specifically to harder places. You know, go to like the microtech moons. Nobody likes mining on Euterpe or Clio. They're horrible to mine on because the weather is awful. Like mega storms and everything. But one of the things we've been talking about, particularly in like the industry wing, is like, let's do it then. Like, let's make it hard and trickier. Let's learn to work around that. Let's have like situations where mole pilots really have to work to, you know, they're not just sat with their feet up drinking tea. Speaking for myself there, to be honest. You know, they're having to keep the ship steady for the miners. Like, that sort of thing is actually, it's nice to have a bit of a challenge, right? Also scenery. I got so bored of looking at the surface of Lyria. So yeah. Some of the spots in Pyro are like, considering how awful Pyro stations are, don't get me started on Pyro stations. Clean up your trash. Nobody would want to live like that. Considering how awful those are, the scenery from some of Pyro's moons is, you know, planets like Bloom, like just really, really nice to like fly around and look at. And so, all right, call 2 elevators. See which gets here first. Which is it gonna be? Got like 20 minutes, and I would really love to get 1 successful mining run in out of this 2 hours. Even if I don't, though, it's fun to just get in and chat. They both turned up at the same time, didn't they? And closed the doors immediately on me. Hopefully, though, as this couple of weeks goes on, as we do more streams in the PTU, hopefully you'll be getting to see a bit more mining and handing missions in, and we'll look back and laugh on all the bugs. Par for the course. Par for the course. That one elevator. Like the old saying, Star Citizen is a true PvE game. Player versus elevator. Anybody wants to have that PvE, PvP debate, and you don't want to have it, just shut them down with that. Right, let's see if we have a bit more luck in the old Prosby. Not try and make the game go mad with dealing with me getting in and out of a seat. Less to go wrong. Maybe we should have started with this. I say less to go wrong. I mean, I landed that mole just fine, and then it just blew itself up because it couldn't handle the servers anymore. Oh, we haven't yet. Ben's real life job stuff. His like hell month is January. My hell month is March. So what we'll try and do is we'll try and make sure we get together in definitely try and make sure we get together in February, and probably try and record a couple of episodes so that we take advantage of him being freer after January, and bank something ahead of me going into crazy work mode. Well, I thought a prospector would be a nice example, but it doesn't even seem to want to let me up a ladder. Or let me close this ladder. So, prospector limbo apparently. There we go. We're in. Now to wait for the next door to open. Oh dear. At least though, this is all I can say. This is what makes it quite fun to do this sort of stuff on stream. Because at least right now, I've got you to chat to. When I try to do video content about the PTU, it drives me up the wall, because I'm just like, I just feel like I'm wasting hours of my life. Because you go through hours of this, without actually getting anything resembling footage. Like, which, so at least now it's shared pain, and we're actually making something, like, as opposed to just solo pain with that feeling of like, what did you do tonight? I got 30 seconds of usable clip. So, I reckon I should just make one PTU focused video per PTU, just with like a few clips of all the jank from like a stream, and then just, you know, Mr. Mackey from South Park just saying it's bad, okay? Like, does the seat wanna give me anywhere to get in? I should title these "I'm playing the PTU, so you don't have to." I'd say it's very much back to Myth's point about his wife preferring him watching the stream to swearing at his own game. So I know this is a seat. I know I'm meant to be able to sit down in it. I'm not seeing any way I can. So. Do you want to let me in? Maybe? Pulling a gun on it worked earlier. Oh, it won't even let me do that. I thought maybe backing away from it might work, and now I'm just having to wait behind the door again. It knows what I'm trying to do, holding down the left mouse button. There we go. Pilot Z enter. Yes. Ah, the little wins. The little wins are what we're going for. Jason, the new vid will go live at 6 PM my time, which is in 2 hours and 42 minutes. So yeah. Let's go. We've hit flight ready some time ago. So yeah. Come on, little prospector. It's 12 minutes to Krug's Walk. What do we reckon? Are we gonna get this ship out of the hangar in that time? I'm leaning towards maybe no. I'm gonna press the button to like open the hangar door, which also appears to be a wall of sheet iron, so sheet steel. I figure maybe if the hangar door wakes up. Well, the hangar door came and opened. The ship does not want a flight ready though. Is there a manual flight ready in the cockpit? There it is. Okay, maybe it was just my flight ready command wasn't working. We did in fact get out of the hangar. Good times, good times. Next test. Can we set course to Hurston? Calculating. Seems to have that bug. Let's jump there. It might just be a little bit of obstruction, so maybe if we just get some of the way towards Dalsey and then turn around. Yeah, we're in like almost the most frustrating race here, Jules. It's like watching a walking race, but every 2 steps forward you have to take 1 back. I don't think that's going to make it to the Olympics, just saying. Hurston. Alright, we got a route. We got a route. Right, let's go. Feeling good about this now. Just stream. I like that myth. Just stream Krug's walk. More reliable. I don't think you've been on a walk with Krug, though. It's not particularly reliable. He is a fair weather dog. Doesn't like the rain. Doesn't like the wind. Feel almost cruel that I make him live in Scotland based on these factors. Let's go. We got 8 minutes. We've got 8 minutes. We can do this. Prospector full of iron. Just gotta cooperate, Star Citizen. Let's go. Maybe if Star Citizen cooperates, maybe Krug will also cooperate. I would really like to just go on a cafe to this, go to a cafe on this walk. Get some additional coffee in myself. The good thing is this is sort of a, like, you know, I like it, he likes it situation. He gets treats and attention from the people who work at the cafe, so. Right. Got a lot of potentials, but feeling like it's a lot of gems. So feeling like I need to slightly decline the speed at which I'm falling out of the sky. There we go. Right, let's find something that isn't gems. Get that power into engines. Yeah, I'm not really a pub guy, I'm not gonna lie. I know CitizenCon impressions might suggest otherwise, but that's more of a rarity for me than a usual thing. Jules, it's a really technical term I'm gonna come out with here. The signatures appear to be all kinds of fucked. Would be my my take on it. All kinds of fucked. So, because yeah, getting things like 60,000 and then it turns out to be like five gems or something like that. So. Wakey wakey, Mr. Rock. It was all looking so good until it came time to try and scan a rock. There we go. Of course, that is very impossible. See. Yeah, good old pew-pewing the rocks, eh? That's a good one. I still try and do it from time to time. Oh, pup cups, right. Pup cups are also a thing here. Now, we are not quite sure what our dog is allergic to. We are doing a special diet to establish exactly that. One thing I can definitely tell you, though, is that whipped cream does nothing good for his insides. So that one is confirmed. He would love a pup cup. But I have to be the total bastard who's like, no pup cups for you. Right, this looks like a rock we should be able to manage. Which are we in? Are we in nav or are we in SCM? Let's do the pull away. And go back in thing. We've tried shooting them for compliance. We've tried looking away. I'd really like to at least just crack one more rock today. Come on. Come on, we can do this. Maybe if I don't look at it again. Not looking. Come on. Come on, systems. It didn't seem to work. Still, this is less frustrating than using them all. Gotta be said. Let's look at a different rock. This one feels like it might be too big. Hard to judge sometimes. Let's do the full leave and come back thing. Let's get some real distance in. Cheers, Jules. I too should probably get going, but I'm committed now. I'd like to at least fill this prospector up, even if I then bedlog on it and come back to refine it later. Or realistically, wait for the next PTU build. Get the feeling I might just be a little bit too early to this particular party. Although I wouldn't put it past COG in any of these instances to just be like, we're doing it live. We'll do it live. Okay. We're going to give this rock 30 more seconds. 30 seconds. And then I am going to have to call it. Sadly. But we will be back later in the week for some more streams. I am going to try, emphasis on try, to do at least one nightly stream. Like 1 weeknight stream. And 1 Sunday stream going forward. I'd like to try and make this kind of a regular time, and then the weekly one will be a bit more irregular, just basically based around, just flexed around like other stuff that I have on, and other commitments. But I'll try and squeeze it in because I do actually enjoy doing this. Afraid this rock has had all the time I can give it. So, right, big thank you to everybody for watching. Keep an eye out. Tonight we've got a video I'm quite proud of, because I'm quite proud of the achievement of making two of the Wicklow Idrises simultaneously. I think it was I'm not going to stop saying this. It comes in now. It comes in now. Okay, we're going to mine it while I chat some more bullets. So yeah, we got a video going live detailing our grind of 2 Aegis Idrises from Wicklow. It was a really fun, massive project for the org. And yeah, so keep an eye out for that. That'll go live in about 2.5 hours. And I will try and put more of a schedule up on Twitch. I'll try and work out sort of what days look good for streaming. I shall ask the boss what days I'm allowed, basically. And look forward to doing a lot more of this. I'm not even gonna risk scanning it. We're gonna wait too long for these pieces to come in, I think. So we're just gonna take a grab it all. It does say in the video, but I can tell you, one Idris takes 1,200 SU of Quantanium, which, given the whole like 45% refining rates these days, means that 2 Idrises take like 5,000 plus raw quant. Thankfully, we like mining, because also, you know, it was a bit of a crapshoot in terms of what you kept and what you didn't over this patch, like between 4.4 and 4.5, and yeah, we did not keep very much stuff from our sort of pre 4.5. We got hit by those inventory wipes that weren't wipes quite badly. So that meant it was all to do in 4.5 pretty much. And it was particularly made difficult by the Apex Valakar not spawning eggs until the hotfix came in. So there we go. 3 minutes late for the walk, but we got a full prospector. So I am going to land and log is the approach I'm going to take here. See if it will let me do a cheeky bed log. Yeah, it was also just like the whole process was so cool in terms of like just, you know, the whole org, I felt. Oh dear. Oh dear. We got bedlog in space. The whole org really came together. This takes so many different disciplines, different things. So many events run off the back of it, so it was a fantastic project to do. And yeah, so please do check out that video when it comes live. Enjoy the rest of your Sundays. Don't let the work fear get you. And yeah, I look forward to hanging out with folks over on the Discord. I'll be back streaming 1 weeknight this week. I'll stick up in the schedule, and I'll definitely be back next Sunday as well. So I will catch you then. Thanks everybody, and ciao for now.